Essex Fells, New Jersey, the Sylvester home, October 8, 1926, Friday morning. An 11-year-old boy lies in bed. His name is Johnny Sylvester. He cannot move, cannot speak, cannot open his eyes. 3 days ago he fell from a horse. His head struck a rock, skull fractured, brain swelling, infection spreading. Doctors told his family to prepare. Hopeless case, maybe 48 hours, maybe less, unless a miracle happens. Johnny's father, Horace Sylvester, is losing his mind. His son is dying. He is helpless. There is nothing he can do. Then he remembers. He walks into Johnny's room, looks at the walls, posters, newspaper clippings, all the same man, Babe Ruth, Yankees star, Johnny's hero. Johnny is unconscious, but his father knows that if his son can hear anything, if any voice can reach him, it must be Babe Ruth's voice. Horace rushes to the telephone, calls Yankees organization, calls the front office, calls his boss, calls his friends. "I need to reach Babe Ruth. My son is dying. His only chance is seeing Ruth. Please, please, someone help me." And that day, October 8, 1926, a phone rings. In the Yankees clubhouse. Ruth answers, and has the most important conversation of his life. The voice on the phone is breaking. A father, desperate, panicked. "Mr. Ruth, my son is dying. He is 11 years old. Horse accident, skull fractured. Doctors say he has days left, maybe hours. But he is your biggest fan. His bedroom walls are covered with your posters. And I thought maybe you could give him hope. Maybe if he hears your voice. Maybe." Ruth listens, swallows hard. He should not have taken this call. World Series starts in 3 days. He needs to focus, stay concentrated. But the voice on the phone, the desperation, a father losing his son. "Where do you live?" Ruth asks. "Essex Fells, New Jersey, about 45 minutes from here." "Give me the address. I will be there tomorrow morning." "Tomorrow morning? But the World Series—" "Tomorrow morning," Ruth repeats. "I promise." October 9th, 1926, Saturday morning, 7 a.m. Ruth wakes up in his New York apartment. He did not sleep well, kept thinking about the phone call, about the dying boy, about what he can possibly do. He dresses, simple clothes, no Yankees uniform, no fancy suit, just regular clothes. He wants to be Babe the person, not Babe the baseball player. He takes something from his closet, a baseball, brand new, white leather, red stitches. He puts it in his pocket. Then he drives. 45 minutes through New Jersey countryside. October morning, cold, gray, trees losing their leaves, everything dying, just like the boy he is going to visit. He arrives at the Sylvester house, 9 a.m., large house, beautiful property, stone walls, manicured lawn, wealthy family. But money means nothing when your child is dying. Ruth parks his car on the circular driveway, steps out. The morning air is cold, his breath visible. He looks at the house. Second-floor window, curtains drawn. That must be Johnny's room, where a boy is fighting for his life. Ruth walks to the front door. His footsteps echo on the stone pathway. He hesitates for a moment before knocking. What if this does not help? What if seeing him makes no difference? What if the boy dies anyway and Ruth's visit just gave false hope? But he pushes those thoughts away. He made a promise to come. Babe Ruth keeps his promises. He knocks. 3 solid knocks. Horace Sylvester opens immediately, like he has been waiting by the door, probably has been. All night, his eyes are red, swollen, no sleep, no hope, just waiting for his son to die. His face is unshaven, his clothes wrinkled. He looks 10 years older than he probably is. Grief does that. "Mr. Ruth," Horace's voice cracks, "you came. You actually came. I did not think you would. I thought maybe I dreamed the phone call. That desperation made me imagine things. I said I would, Ruth says simply. Where is Johnny? His voice is gentle, not the loud, boisterous Babe Ruth the public knows. This is George Herman Ruth, the man who grew up in an orphanage, who knows what it feels like to be forgotten, to be alone, to need someone to care. Horace leads him upstairs. The house is quiet, funeral quiet. Johnny's mother, Katie, is sitting outside the bedroom. She stands when she sees Ruth, tries to speak, cannot, just cries. Ruth takes her hand. I am going to talk to your son, he says, and he is going to hear me. Katie nods, wants to believe, but has no belief left. Ruth enters Johnny's room. The room is small, silent, curtains drawn, dim light. The boy is in bed, not moving, eyes closed, breathing but barely. His father stands in the corner, his mother by the bed. Both have been crying, both have lost hope. Ruth approaches the bed, looks at the child. 11 years old, too young, too small, life just beginning, and now ending. The boy's face is pale, almost gray. His breathing is shallow, irregular. Each breath looks like it might be his last. There are bandages wrapped around his head, white gauze stained slightly yellow from medicine. The smell in the room is medicinal, antiseptic, the smell of hospitals, of death. Ruth has been in many locker rooms, seen many injuries, broken bones, concussions, but this is different. This is not an athlete who will heal and play again. This is a child who might never wake up. Ruth sits. On the edge of the bed, the mattress shifts slightly under his weight. He is careful, gentle, does not want to disturb the boy. He touches Johnny's hand. Cold, very cold. The hand of a child should be warm, full of life, but this hand feels like it is already leaving, already preparing to let go. Hey, Johnny, Ruth speaks softly. I am Babe, Babe Ruth. Can you hear me? No movement, no response, but Ruth continues. I know you had a bad accident with the horse. I know you are in a lot of pain. But listen to me, Johnny. The World Series starts in 3 days. Yankees playing against the Cardinals. And I know you are a Yankees fan. I know you love watching me play, so I am going to make you a promise. Ruth leans closer, whispers into the child's ear, but loud enough that the parents can hear. I am going to hit a home run for you in the World Series, Johnny. Not just one, more than one. Every time I hit a home run, I will be thinking of you, and you will be there. Not in this bed, at the stadium, watching me, because you are going to get better. You have to get better, because I made you a promise. And Babe Ruth keeps his promises. Ruth stands, takes the baseball from his pocket, places it on the bed next to Johnny's hand. This is for you, Ruth says, when you wake up, when you get better. This ball will be here, and you will know I was here, that I made you a promise, and that I will keep it. He turns to the parents. Take care of him. Believe in him. He is stronger than the doctors think. Then Ruth leaves, walks down the stairs, out the door, drives away. Behind him, in that quiet bedroom, Johnny's finger twitches, just once. So small the parents almost miss it, but they see it. The first movement in 3 days, the first sign of life, October 10th, 1926, Sunday. 1 day after Ruth's visit. Johnny is still unconscious, but something has changed. His breathing is stronger. His color is better. The doctors check him, confused. This does not make sense, one doctor says. Yesterday he was hours from death. Today his vitals are improving. This should not be possible. Horace tells them about Ruth's visit, about the promise. The doctors shake their heads. That is not medicine. That is not science. Coincidence. Nothing more. But Katie, Johnny's mother, knows better. She sits by her son's bed, holding his hand, the hand that twitched yesterday. "You heard him, didn't you, Johnny?" she whispers. "You heard Babe Ruth, and you are fighting. You are coming back to us." October 11th, 1926, Monday. Johnny opens his eyes. For the first time in 5 days, his vision is blurry, his head is throbbing, but he is awake, conscious. His mother screams, joyful, terrified, "Horace! Horace! He is awake! Johnny is awake!" His father runs into the room, cannot believe what he is seeing. His son, looking at him, recognizing him. The doctors are called. They rush over, examine Johnny. His skull fracture is still there. The swelling is still there, but he is conscious, alert, aware. "This is medically impossible," one doctor says. "He should be dead, or at best brain damaged, vegetative state. But he is conscious, responsive. I have never seen anything like this." Johnny's voice is weak, barely a whisper. "Dad?" "Yes, son, I am here." Did Babe Ruth come here?" Horace's eyes fill with tears. Yes, he did. He came to see you. He made you a promise." "What promise?" Johnny asks. Katie picks up the baseball from the bed. The ball Ruth left. Shows it to Johnny. "He promised to hit home runs for you in the World Series. He said you have to get better so you can watch him." Johnny holds the ball, looks at it. White leather, red stitches. Babe Ruth touched this ball. Babe Ruth was here. Babe Ruth made a promise. "When does the World Series start?" Johnny asks. "Tomorrow," Horace says. "Tomorrow? Then I have to watch. I have to see if he keeps his promise." The doctors protest. Johnny is too weak, too fragile, cannot leave the bed, cannot watch television. Television does not exist yet, only radio. But Johnny insists. "I have to hear it, on the radio. I have to know if he hits home runs for me." October 12th, 1926, Tuesday, World Series, Game 1, Yankee Stadium. Yankees versus St. Louis Cardinals. 60,000 fans packed into the stadium. The atmosphere is electric. This is what baseball lives for. Championship games, legacy games. Ruth steps to the plate in the first inning. The crowd roars. But Ruth is not thinking about the crowd. He is thinking about a boy in New Jersey. A boy who should be dead. A boy who is somehow still alive. Waiting. Listening, hoping. First pitch, fastball. Ruth swings, misses, strike one. Second pitch, curveball. Ruth watches it. Ball one. Third pitch, fastball down the middle. Ruth swings, connects, but weak contact. Ground ball to short. Out. Ruth jogs back to the dugout, disappointed. But it is only Game 1. He has more chances. The Yankees lose Game 1, 2-1. Cardinals pitcher Grover Cleveland Alexander dominates. Ruth goes 1 for 4. No home runs. That night, Ruth cannot sleep. Keeps thinking about Johnny, about the promise, about how the boy is probably listening on the radio, waiting for a home run, waiting for proof that miracles happen. October 13th, Game 2. Ruth comes to bat in the second inning. Same pitcher as yesterday. Alexander, one of the toughest pitchers in baseball. Ruth digs in, focuses. This one is for Johnny. First pitch, fastball. Outside, ball 1. Second pitch, curveball, inside, ball 2. Third pitch, fastball, middle in. Perfect pitch. Ruth swings. The sound is like thunder. The ball rockets toward right field, rising. The right fielder does not even move. He knows. Everyone knows. Home run. Ruth's first home run of the World Series for Johnny Sylvester. As Ruth rounds the bases, he looks toward New Jersey. Cannot see it, but knows the boy is there. Listening. Hearing the announcer scream, "Home run! Babe Ruth, home run!" And somewhere in Essex Fells, in a bedroom, an 11-year-old boy smiles for the first time in a week. Game 2 ends. Yankees win 6-2. Ruth finishes 2 for 4. 1 home run, 3 RBIs. After the game, reporters ask him about the home run. "That was for a special fan," Ruth says. "A boy named Johnny. He is very sick. I promised him I would hit home runs in the World Series. Today I kept part of that promise." The reporters write it down. The story appears in newspapers the next morning. "Ruth hits home run for dying boy. Babe's promise comes true." The story spreads across the country. Millions of people read about Johnny Sylvester, about the promise, about the miracle. And in Essex Fells, the Sylvester phone rings constantly. Reporters, friends, strangers, everyone wants to know about the boy, about how he is doing. Horace tells them the truth. He is getting better every day. It makes no medical sense, but he is improving. And he says it is because Babe Ruth promised him home runs. If this story is touching your heart and you want to see how it ends, make sure to subscribe so you never miss incredible moments like this. And tell me in the comments, do you believe in the power of hope and promises? Can faith truly heal? Let me know your thoughts below. October 14th, Game 3, Sportsman's Park, St. Louis, Cardinals home field. The series is tied 1-1. This game decides who takes the lead. Ruth steps to the plate in the 4th inning. Score is 1-1. 2 outs. Runner on second. The Cardinals pitcher throws. Fastball. Ruth swings. Another massive hit. Another home run. This one even longer than Game 2. The ball sails over the center field wall, lands in the street. Yankees lead 3-1. They go on to win 4-0. Ruth has now hit 2 home runs in the World Series. 2 promises kept. Back in New Jersey, Johnny is sitting up in bed now, still weak, still recovering, but sitting up, listening to the radio. When the announcer screams, "Home run!" Ruth does it again. Johnny's mother watches her son's face light up. "He did it again, Mom. He hit another one for me. He really is keeping his promise." October 15th, Game 4. Still in St. Louis. Yankees leading the series 2-1. One more win, and they are World Series champions. Ruth comes to bat in the 1st inning. The Cardinals pitcher is careful, throws 2 balls, then makes a mistake. Fastball, middle in. Ruth crushes it. Home run number 3. The announcers are going insane. Ruth has done it again. 3 home runs in 3 consecutive games. This is unprecedented. This is historic. But Ruth is not celebrating excessively. He rounds the bases, tips his cap to the crowd. But his thoughts are with Johnny. 3 home runs, 3 promises kept. The game continues. Yankees win 10-5. They are World Series champions. Ruth finishes the series batting .300. 4 home runs total, 7 RBIs. But the statistics do not tell the real story. The real story is happening 900 miles away in New Jersey. October 16th, the day after the World Series ends. Johnny Sylvester is out of bed, walking, slowly, carefully, but walking. The doctors are baffled. "This child should be dead," one says, "or permanently disabled." But he is walking, talking, recovering faster than any head trauma patient I have ever seen. This is not medicine. This is something else. The newspapers call it a miracle. Boy's miraculous recovery linked to Ruth's home runs. Dying child survives after Babe's promise. The story becomes national news. Radio programs discuss it. Churches mention it in sermons. People across America are talking about Johnny Sylvester and Babe Ruth, about promises and miracles and the power of hope. October 20th. Ruth receives a letter from Horace Sylvester. The letter reads, "Dear Mr. Ruth, I do not have words to thank you for what you did. The doctors say Johnny's recovery is impossible, but I know the truth. When you visited our home, when you made that promise, something changed. My son heard you. Even in his unconscious state, he heard you, and he decided to fight, to live, to get better so he could watch you keep your promise. You did not just hit home runs, Mr. Ruth. You saved my son's life. We will never forget this. Never. If there is anything we can ever do for you, anything at all, please ask. You gave us our son back. We owe you everything. Forever grateful, Horace Sylvester. Ruth reads the letter 3 times. His eyes are wet. He is not a crier, has never been a crier. But this letter breaks something in him. He thinks about all the home runs he has hit, hundreds of them, all the games he has won, all the records he has broken. But none of it matters like this. None of it compares to saving a child's life. He writes back. His letter is short, simple. Dear Mr. Sylvester, I am glad Johnny is better. That is all the thanks I need. Tell him to keep fighting, keep getting stronger, and tell him that every home run I hit from now on, part of it will be for him. Always, Babe Ruth. November 1926. Johnny is fully recovered. The doctors call it a medical miracle. The newspapers call it the power of belief. The family calls it Babe Ruth. Johnny returns to school. His classmates treat him like a celebrity. The boy who was dying. The boy Babe Ruth saved. Johnny does not talk about it much. Just says Ruth made him a promise and kept it, and that is what mattered. December 1926. Ruth invites Johnny and his family to Yankee Stadium, personal tour, meet the team, see the clubhouse. Johnny walks onto the field. The same field where Ruth hit home runs for him. Stands at home plate, holds Ruth's bat. It is too heavy for him, but he holds it anyway. Ruth kneels down, eye level with Johnny. You scared me, kid, Ruth says. When your dad called, when he said you were dying, I did not know if my promise would be enough, if it would mean anything. It meant everything, Johnny says. When I was unconscious, I could hear things, not everything, just pieces. And I heard you, heard your voice, heard you promise. And I knew I had to wake up, had to get better, had to see if you would keep your promise. And you did. You hit 3 home runs. 4, Ruth corrects. 4 home runs total in the World Series. Johnny smiles. 4 is even better. The story of Johnny Sylvester and Babe Ruth becomes one of baseball's greatest legends. Over the years, some people question it, say it was exaggerated, say the doctors were wrong about how sick Johnny was, say the recovery would have happened anyway. But the people who were there know the truth. Johnny was dying. Ruth made a promise. Johnny survived. Ruth kept the promise. Cause and effect? Coincidence? Medical miracle? Nobody knows for certain. But one thing is undeniable. A boy who had no hope found hope in a promise. And that hope gave him a reason to fight, to survive, to live. Johnny Sylvester grew up, lived a full life, got married, had children, became a successful businessman. He lived until 1990. 74 years old. For his entire life, he kept that baseball Ruth gave him. The one Ruth left on his bed in October 1926. White leather, red stitches. It sat in a display case in his home. And every time someone asked about it, Johnny told the story. The story of the day he was dying, the day Babe Ruth visited him, the day Ruth made a promise that saved his life. People ask me if I really believe Ruth's home runs healed me, Johnny would say in interviews years later, and I always tell them the same thing. I do not know if the home runs healed me medically, but I know they healed me spiritually. They gave me hope when I had none. They gave me a reason to fight when I had no fight left, and sometimes that is all you need. Hope, a reason, a promise from someone you believe in. Babe Ruth never forgot Johnny Sylvester either. In interviews for the rest of his life, Ruth was asked about his greatest moment in baseball. Most people expected him to say, breaking the home run record, winning the World Series, playing in Yankee Stadium. But Ruth always gave a different answer. My greatest moment was not on the field, Ruth would say. It was in a bedroom in New Jersey, visiting a dying boy, making him a promise, and then keeping that promise. That mattered more than any game, more than any record, because that was not about baseball. That was about life, about giving hope to someone who needed it. And if I am remembered for anything, I hope it is for that. Not the home runs, the hope. The 1926 World Series is remembered for many things: the Yankees winning their first championship, Ruth's performance, the drama, the excitement. But more than any of that, it is remembered for Johnny Sylvester, for the dying boy who asked for home runs and got 4, for the promise that became a miracle, for the reminder that sports are not just about winning and losing. They are about connection, about meaning, about giving people something to believe in when everything else seems hopeless. October 1926. A boy lay dying. A baseball player made a promise, and for reasons that science cannot fully explain, the boy survived. Maybe it was coincidence. Maybe it was medical luck. Maybe it was the power of belief. Or maybe it was something simpler. Maybe it was a reminder that sometimes, when everything is lost, all you need is one person to care, one person to promise, one person to give you a reason to fight. Babe Ruth was that person for Johnny Sylvester. And Johnny Sylvester was the reminder to Babe Ruth that baseball was more than just a game. It was a way to touch lives, to give hope, to make promises worth keeping. That is the legacy, not the statistics, not the records, the promises, the hope, the lives changed. That is what matters. That is what lasts. That is what makes legends truly legendary.